In the Doctor Who universe, regeneration is something that Time Lords do to save themselves. They might be in a near-death experience and need to regenerate because they've been shot or they've been injured. The in real life reason we have Doctor Who's regeneration is because William Hartnell, the first Doctor, couldn't keep on playing the Doctor, and they had to come up with an idea to continue the show. It's now used as a way to keep the show refreshed and ever-changing so it doesn't get stale. However, in today's video, I'm going to be speaking about why Doctor Who has ruined regeneration. And no, I'm aware Regeneration, especially within the TV show, has always been really wacky. There's always been weird things going on, like the Watcher in Classic Who, but as of recent, I feel like Regeneration has sort of lost its touch. I also want to preface that in today's video, we will only be speaking about TV regenerations, nothing from books or external media like the audio drama. It's in my personal opinion that over the last 10 years, Doctor Who's idea of regeneration has really lost its way. I trace this right back to the time of the Doctor, when the Doctor got a brand new set of regenerations. This had happened in the show because the Doctor had used all his remaining regenerations. He was dying and he was old, and Clara had pleaded to the Time Lords to give him some more and help the Doctor. Now, I don't particularly see this as an issue. Without this, Doctor Who would have ended and they needed to find a way to keep the show going. So I don't mind this too much, but I feel like it started a trend of Doctor Who messing around with regeneration a lot more.
Regeneration are known. You have expended all your life.
After this point in the show, for a while, there was no messing with regeneration. Peter Capaldi had a fake-out regeneration, but that's something this show by that point had accustomed to, when the 10th Doctor also had a fake-out regeneration. I like the idea of a fake-out regeneration, and in the show it's been explained quite well and the reasons behind this. Like regeneration energy going into the Doctor's expendable hand that had been cut off. I really don't mind the show messing around with regeneration as long as there's a reasonable Doctor Who logic behind it. For example, I love the 4th Doctor's Watcher. I love that, and I love the mystery behind that. I love the fake-out regenerations, and I like things across that line, because it's just fun. Back during the 2nd Doctor era, the Time Lords forced the 2nd Doctor to regenerate as punishment.
Your appearance has changed before, it will change again, and that is part of the sentence.
You can't just change what I look like without consulting me!
The idea of forced regeneration as punishment on Gallifrey, the home planet of the Time Lords, is a harrowing one. It's an interesting concept that if modern Who had taken that and developed it well, could have been a great storyline. Instead, modern Who, for me, I feel like mucked up a little bit. But before we speak about the forced regeneration in The Power of the Doctor, I would like to speak about the Timeless Child's adaptation of regeneration and how it came to be. It was established during the Timeless Child arc that the Doctor wasn't actually Gallifreyan. They were from a different universe, and so was the idea of regeneration. Their regeneration was studied and extracted upon so the early Time Lords could actually harness it and use it for themselves.
To crack this code, to understand regeneration. And finally, she did. And to prove herself right, she took the ultimate risk. Tested the theory on herself, put her own life on the line.
This is something that I and a lot of fans alike find a very controversial thing. I don't personally like the idea that the Time Lords manufactured regeneration, experimenting on the Doctor, the Timeless Child, who came from a different universe. I don't like that idea. I honestly prefer the idea that the Time Lords were just blessed with this creation. They were blessed with the idea of regeneration. That's just in their genome. They can just do it, rather than them creating it and the Doctor being this all-important being that can indefinitely regenerate. There is no limitations on that anymore. It's what, for me, in the time of the Doctor made sense. The Doctor got given regenerations by the Time Lords because they're that powerful. But here, the Doctor can unlimitedly regenerate, so there's no risk anymore. I don't like that. The Doctor had several lives that they can't remember, including the Fugitive Doctor. I don't have an issue with that. I think that's completely fine, but I don't like how they executed it whatsoever and how that affects regeneration. During Jodie Whittaker's, the 13th Doctor's last episode, The Power of the Doctor, the Master forced the Doctor to regenerate. the Master actually regenerated into the Doctor's body. An idea that takes the forced regeneration of the second Doctor and ruins it. The Master regenerates into the Doctor's body, and they don't switch bodies. There's just two Masters' bodies. In my mind, that doesn't make any sense. This idea doesn't make any sense. Why didn't they just switch bodies? Why couldn't it be a body swapping thing? Instead, the Master regenerates into the Doctor, and the Doctor's stuck in their mind. To add insult to injury, later on in The Power of the Doctor, when Jodie Whittaker is actually probably regenerating into the next incarnation of the Doctor, the next incarnation of the Doctor is an older face. It's David Tennant's face. It's the 10th Doctor, but now as the 14th Doctor. I personally don't have an issue with the 13th Doctor regenerating into David Tennant's 14th Doctor. If it was given a good reason for it happening, I don't mind it whatsoever. If it was the fact that the Master had messed around with the regenerations that had caused this, that's fine. If it was explained that the Toymaker had caused this, who was reintroduced in these 60th anniversary episodes, that'd be completely fine. But throughout these episodes, it was made clear that that wasn't the reason. The reason was the Doctor had been through so much trauma and damage that they needed to stop. They needed to settle down. This is explicitly said by the brand new Doctor, Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor, in these episodes. At this point, when watching the 60th anniversary specials, the idea of regeneration had become more of a gimmick than anything else. And this was reaffirmed for me when Bi-Generation was introduced.
Feels different this time. Ow! What? What?
No way.
This is how that regeneration works. The 15th Doctor already has all of 14th Doctor's memories, including the ones he hasn't lived yet. He is from the future, but he's been dragged back to that point and regenerates. It's a very confusing concept, meaning there are two Doctors living at the same time, but one's got all the memories of the previous one without them actually living it yet. It's a very difficult concept to explain. It hasn't even been properly explained yet. It's a lot going off of what Russell T Davies has said, what's stated in the episode, and fan theories. And for me, I don't know, it doesn't feel right, it doesn't sit right with me. This idea feels kind of tacky, and it's taken a lot for it to grow on me. I love Ncuti Gatwa as the Doctor already, and I love the 14th Doctor, and I love the 60th anniversary specials, including the giggle. But this moment, the Bi-Generation, I love everything after the Bi-Generation, but trying to get over Bi-Generation is a really big thing. For me, I feel like the effects of this feel a lot worse because we've just seen the 13th Doctor regenerating back into the 10th Doctor's face as the 14th Doctor. We've seen the Master regenerate into the Doctor. We've seen the fact that the regenerations only exist because of the Doctor themselves, because they don't actually come from Gallifrey. And that's all in the space of the past couple of years. It feels like they're doing a lot with regeneration, and it's made it tacky and quite confusing. I can deal with regeneration being weird sometimes, the Watcher, the 8th Doctor drinking a potion that makes him regenerate. I can deal with the wackiness of regeneration, because it's a wacky concept in itself. I can deal with all these explanations to why it happens, but in the past couple of years we've been given a lot of reasons for a lot of this stuff that don't make sense and are quite confusing for casual viewers and hardcore fans alike. And I just wish that they would lighten up on that. They would just go back to regeneration being a normal, regular thing and how it's been for the past 60 years. I also think a lot of this is down to we've had a lot of talk about regeneration and a lot of regeneration over the past couple of years. So I personally feel overwhelmed by the amount we're seeing of it, and would just like a little break from it for now, before it becomes a completely overused concept.